This is a Wave breaking news alert.
And good morning. That breaking news taking place. If you're heading out on the roadways this morning, good morning to you at 7 o'clock. I want you to take a look at what we're seeing right now. This is the backup. We're talking about 64 eastbound at the Fraser Museum. The car is backed up. Why is that? Because we have not one but two car crashes reported. The first one coming in at 6:30 this morning, 64 east at 2nd Street, a one-car crash. And then shortly after that, 64 east ramp onto 9th Street. Two cars involved in that. No reports of injuries at this point, but this is what you're going to encounter out there on the roadways. Partially lanes blocked out there. You're going to see emergency responders. So certainly watch your speed as you go through that area. You see the highlighted red icon in the middle. That means the trouble spots. So you may want to give yourself a lot of extra time. Watch your speed limit and certainly buckle up this morning. Ladies, over to you.
Yeah, that's a mess out there this morning. Too bad for a Friday morning. Not the way you want to start off a Friday.
Definitely not. Yeah. But hey, at least the weather's going to cooperate with us this weekend.
Yeah, really, really nice. Kind of warm on Saturday. Good weekend to put up the Christmas lights outside. Let's get you outside to downtown looking over the Spaghetti Junction. Well, we were supposed to be looking over Spaghetti Junction. Looks like we're having some camera trouble. There you go. Nice start to the day. We've got temperatures for the most part in the 30s at this hour. It's 39 here in Louisville, 39 in Shelbyville, 35 in Bardstown, 32 in E-Town. But you see some warmer temperatures just to the north and west, like Bedford at 43. How about Paoli at 50 already? Why do we have such a big range in temperatures? Well, we've got more clouds filtering in and also a few showers with those clouds. You notice across Lawrence and Orange County, Indiana, some of those raindrops starting to fall. This is right on schedule, if you will, as this warm front starts to move in. So if you're just north of Bedford, up towards the Lawrence County line, further south, closer to French Lick, along Highway 50 and Highway 150, a few raindrops to start off your Friday. Everybody else is dry for now, but we'll keep a 20% chance for a few of those light showers now through about 2 o'clock this afternoon. And then we're dry for the rest of the evening. We're tracking that warm up for the weekend and a bit more unsettled weather next week. Coming up, your 10-day earliest alert in just a few minutes.
All right. Thank you, Carson. Workers at a new resource center say they're ready to help anyone impacted by the UPS plane crash. The new Community Resource Center on High Rise Drive is hosting different organizations which provide their own specialized services. That includes mental health counseling, finding lost documents, even coordinating kids support with local schools. 14 people were killed and 18 others were hurt when the plane crashed last week. Staff say this center is for anyone whose life has been disrupted, not just those injured by the blast.
It's important to know that asking for help is not a weakness. It's a strength, and help can come in different forms, look differently for different people.
People will need to make an appointment before getting help from the Resource Center. We have their contact information on our website, wave3.com.
And we're learning more about how hospitals and medical facilities sprung into action to care for victims of the UPS plane crash. And one of those places is the U of L burn unit.
Their facility is the only burn unit of its kind in the Commonwealth, designed to handle treatment for such severe injuries. Rob Wells is back with a closer look. Rob.
Hi, Olivia. The director of the U of L burn unit confirming to me that they took in 3 victims from the UPS plane crash. This morning, one remains within the hospital. The burn unit director of nursing says that they were made aware of that air disaster right between shift changes, but it became an all-hands-on-deck approach. 12 nurses were on duty at the time, and the night shift was just about ready to come on board when that plane went down about 5:15 that day. She says the praise from the patients, their loved ones, and so many others in the community has been overwhelming. Since the crash, U of L social workers have been checking in with the nurses who were there at the time to make sure that they're also doing okay.
Like you've got to kind of really want to be a burn provider and a trauma provider. And so, like I said, people aren't even scheduled to be at work, came in. The ER was absolutely full of staff and everybody who were just looking for somebody to help. And then number 2, like the international reach. I had people calling me and emailing me from Korea that heard about the plane crash. I had people from Louisiana, from various companies that we interact with that were willing to donate product to help these patients and things like that.
Matthew Sweet was one of the victims treated at the U of L burn unit. He died 2 days after the crash. His obituary encourages donations to the burn unit. The staff telling me that those donations still pouring in. The burn unit director adding that while the UPS crash was a massive undertaking, they've taken in even more victims in other tragedies. One of those, we're talking about the Old National Bank shooting in April 2023. 5 people were killed, several others hurt. Olivia?
Thank you, Rob. As a token of gratitude, Metro students are writing cards and sending them to the first responders who rushed towards the UPS plane crash site. Okolona fire crews recently received their cards. Mayor Craig Greenberg posted about the delivery. He added a statement, quote, "Thank you to all who answered the call last week, including the Okolona Fire Department." Mayor Greenberg also said the responders' heroism and bravery inspires the community across every neighborhood. Local nonprofits say despite the government reopening, they're still feeling the consequences of the longest federal government shutdown in history.
Across federal agencies, furloughed workers will have to tackle a more than 6-week backlog of work. At 40 of the country's top airports, and that includes SDF, some flight restrictions are still in effect. Travelers are being told to still expect some canceled and delayed flights, while air traffic control works to bring more staff back. Officials say it could also take time for SNAP food benefits to get back to normal, and local food banks have been trying to fill that gap.
The SNAP benefits that folks were receiving was already not enough to sustain their livelihoods, and now having even that little bit cut out has left so many people in the lurch that they have started to stress.
The Agriculture Secretary says she expects full SNAP benefits to be restored Monday. Since the legislation only funds most of the government through January, the federal government could shut down again in less than 3 months.
Today, the Kentucky Hemp Association plans to push back on new changes to hemp regulations that were included in the funding bill. The 2026 Agriculture FDA Appropriations Bill redefines what hemp is, saying products labeled as hemp must now exclude quantifiable amounts of THC. The regulation change was spearheaded by Senator Mitch McConnell, who says too many hemp products with THC have intoxicating effects. But many farmers and retailers say the new rule changes will make their products illegal.
It'll take 1 year to set into effect, and if nothing changes within that language over the next year, then we will be facing a complete ban on these products. They'll be restricted just like marijuana.
Today, the Kentucky Hemp Association will hold 2 press conferences outside of McConnell's offices in Louisville and Lexington to talk about the legislation's impact. A new project is looking to attract new neighbors and businesses to the Portland neighborhood.
Developers are working to bring what they're calling the Liminal Project to life. It's on set to be complete in 2027. It'll transform this historic warehouse on Lytle Street into 138 apartments with rents targeted at 80% of area median income. It'll cost $35.5 million. Louisville Downtown Partnership is chipping in $1.5 million from the Downtown Housing Assistance Loan. Leaders at LDP say while there are few businesses in that neighborhood, the area has historically lacked in redevelopment.
We've got a few houses nearby, but with apartments, that brings in a different mix of people and energy. I'm excited about it personally and looking forward to seeing this area transform over the next couple of years.
There will be a groundbreaking ceremony for this project Monday at 2 p.m. New changes have been made to a Metro Council ordinance that seeks to crack down on illegal massage parlors. The ordinance now includes new licensing requirements and background checks for workers and owners. We told you yesterday morning this ordinance would rewrite rules for all massage facilities in an effort to make it easier to identify and stop illicit operations that may be engaging in human trafficking. Some massage therapists were concerned, though, about vague language over requirements for inspections. While they had hours of debate on these changes, Metro Council member Jeff Hudson says there could be issues making changes so quickly.
What happens when we do amendments on the fly? It creates problems. I don't think there's ever been a perfect piece of legislation, this one included. But where there's room for improvement, I would hope that we can send those requests to the task force.
Louisville recently launched a new task force to crack down on illegal massage parlors. The Metro Council also voted to reappoint Inspector General Ed Harness. The Inspector General investigates civilian complaints against LMPD and reviews the department's policies, procedures, and operations. He will serve a second 4-year term. And the council voted down a resolution to encourage local businesses, solid waste management, and state regulators to ban single-use plastic bags in Jefferson County.
Following their loss to Cal last Saturday, the Cards looking for a win as they host Clemson tonight. The Cards will once again, though, be without star running back Isaac Brown. He's still out with an injury. Head coach Jeff Brom says regardless of the injuries, his team needs to respond and show more fight with who they have available tonight.
In my opinion, in order to win in this league, you got to bring your A game. You got to coach well. You got to play well. You got to find a way to win. We've lost 2 games in overtime. Just got to, correct some of those things as we see them. You lose a game, it's no fun, and you got to, regroup, man up, and go back to work and figure out a way to win the next one.
The 4-5 Tigers and 7-2 Cards play tonight at 7:30 at L&N Federal Credit Union Stadium, and you can watch that game on ESPN.
Well, communities in Jamaica are recovering still after Hurricane Melissa caused widespread destruction.
How a group from Louisville is helping the island heal after the devastating storm.
And welcome back to you on your finally Friday morning. It is 7:12. Glad to have you along. I do have some concerns for you this morning if you're heading out. Taking a look at this area right now, we're talking about 64 East at the Fraser Museum. This has been a back and forth all morning. Take a look at the big picture. It is slow down right now. It was clear literally just 2 minutes ago. The scene changed. Why is that? Well, we had 2 crashes. We were working according to our friends at Trimark at 64 East at 2nd Street. That one was about 6:30 this morning. And then a 2-car crash at 64 East at 9th. Just within the last few minutes, our friends at the Trimark offices, all clear. Everything's done in that area. So it was clear, but now you see the backup. What is that? We don't know. We're still keeping an eye on it. But that's what you're seeing right now at 64th the Fraser. So buckle up and watch your speed. Olivia, back over to you.
Thank you, Rob. A Louisville organization is helping communities devastated by Hurricane Melissa. WaterStep says its immediate focus is in Jamaica. They say that's because major flooding has crippled the infrastructure and left millions vulnerable to waterborne disease. WaterStep has set up a field training center in Jamaica to reach as many of the island's residents as possible. They'll be able to bring safe water and disinfectant to communities in need.
We have to buy water, and there is no water since the storm. We have to purchase water to drink. We have to purchase water to wash. We cannot go to the laundry, so we have to find spring.
We got equipment coming in today, more equipment scheduled in, dozens and dozens of pieces to be able to be put in place for these disaster workers to learn how to operate and disseminate, and even people living in these communities can take care of their own water and sanitation needs.
Each Safe Water disaster response kit will provide enough safe water and disinfectant for 3,000 people. WaterStep says its leaders are also in contact with officials in Cuba and Haiti to determine their needs.
A team of UK engineering students and faculty is joining NASA on an Arctic space mission. They will launch a device that they developed to perform experiments in space. It'll launch in Norway as part of NASA's Ghost spaceflight mission. This device will be used to collect data that could improve future spacecraft heat shields. More than 20 undergrad and graduate students were part of this team. What a cool opportunity for them.
Imagine having that on your resume before
Yeah.
you've even graduated college. Impressive opportunity.
No
Yeah, I worked with NASA.
Yeah, nice. All right, let's go to Carson right now as we're looking at the weekend, and you may want to make plans to get outside tomorrow, especially.
Maybe decorate the house, all the Christmas lights outside, get it done while it's still warm, looking pretty good. We'll get you outside to New Albany this morning. Not much of a breeze out there just yet. You see the flags are laying low at this moment, but as we go through the day today, there will be a warm front lifting through wave country, bringing us a few showers, yes, but also bringing that wind back up too. Could be a little bit of a breezy afternoon. Right now it's pretty quiet, 39 our current temperature here in Louisville. We will warm things up very quickly today as well. 68 your forecast high. Big reason why, of course, is that warm front moving in. And there's not a lot of moisture with it, but there's just enough to squeeze out a few showers. We're already seeing some of those showers in Lawrence and Orange counties in Indiana. And you'll see on future casts, for most of you, it's just a slight uptick in cloud cover as this warm front scoots by. But a few showers could very well linger as we go through the rest of this morning and into the early afternoon. Now through about 2 p.m., we'll keep that 20% shower chance. Past 2 o'clock, the warm front gets a move on. The clouds move out and the showers move out. So whatever plans you have late this afternoon and tonight should be just fine. And there is a lot happening in Wave Country tonight, including, of course, the Cards taking on Clemson. Kickoff at 7:30 at Element Stadium. Tailgating around 5 o'clock. We'll still be in the mid-60s at that time. 61 degrees our kickoff temperature. And this will be one of those evenings where those temperatures really don't change a whole lot. We'll likely hold steady in the upper 50s most of this evening and overnight tonight. So just a light jacket needed for that game, and you'll be good to go. This weekend looks pretty good. 73 on Saturday. Very unusual, or at least doesn't happen very often with 70s in November, but we got it tomorrow. Another breezy day for Saturday, but a cold front moves in tomorrow night, and once again, it doesn't have a lot of moisture with it, but there could be enough for a few showers tomorrow night. Once that front moves through, the cooler air settles back in, so the 70s are only here for one day, but it still looks pretty nice on Sunday as well, with a good bit of sun and highs right around 60. Enjoy that sunshine while we have it. You see on the 10-day earliest alert, next week is pretty busy with multiple rounds of showers on the table, especially for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Let's focus on the end of next week in particular. The reason why we have lingering shower chances most of next week is thanks to a warm front. That warm front lifts northward on Thursday during the day. Then by Thursday night and next Friday, we have a pretty strong cold front expected to move in. That's going to bring a few thunderstorms as well. It's too early to talk about any strong or severe storm risk at this point, but just know we're watching that Thursday and next Friday time frame for our next decent thunderstorm chance, and we'll have to wait and see just how strong those storms might be. But for now, you see the 10-day is pretty quiet, at least in the short term, but a little bit damp in the long term. Temperatures, by the way, other than Saturday, hover in the 50s and 60s.
Thank you so much. Well, for more than 36 years now, Norton Children's Hospital kicks off the holiday season with their Festival of Trees and Lights. And you can appreciate it, get inspired, and also buy it too.
Yeah, and that money raised goes from the event to the hospital. There are plenty of opportunities there too. Santa will also be there as well. Wave News reporter Marissa Burke gives us a sneak peek.
There is so much to see and experience when you come out to the Festival of Trees and Lights. And I'm talking about how heartfelt this can make you feel. And that has a double meaning when we look at the tree that Mary Lou Fitzer and so many others have worked on this year. Your tree is special because there's a whole package that goes along with it. But I want to talk about the tree specifically. You guys worked on that topper, and it's so great. How long did it take you to work on that?
Really not that long. The theme kind of evolved last year, and so we've been buying ornaments for a year, and then the tree topper, being the heartfelt theme, had to be hearts. So that's what we went with, and then adding the elves just brings that little special little child quality to the whole tree.
And there's so many different trees out here, different themes. There's over like 300 items at this event, and people can check out your tree and so many others. But when we talk about your tree, there's a special package that can come along with it.
That's right. It is over $6,000 worth of gift gifts, gift cards, and experiences. And we have the same people that donate every year, and then we also solicit for new donations, and it's for a great cause for Norton Children's Hospital, and it's a wonderful way to contribute to the hospital and to check off your Christmas list.
I was just about to say that for the past, 36 years, Norton Children's Hospital has raised more than $10 million from this event. So the money goes to a great cause. So again, this tree's starting bid is $2,500. But as we were saying, you got to get it if you want it, because there are going to be so many people coming through here this weekend. And again, the event kicks off today and runs through the rest of the weekend. So make sure you come out to support Norton Children's and get in the Christmas spirit. Marissa Burke, Wave News.
Thank you so much, Marissa. Gosh, that is so pretty. Well, some changes are happening to a beloved Thanksgiving tradition here in Wave Country.
We'll tell you what's different about the decades-old tournament after the break. Ahead of tonight's lottery drawing, Kentucky Lottery hosting a Mega Millions coupon giveaway today. The Mega Millions jackpot is the 8th largest at $965 million. Who doesn't want that? So you can get your free $5 coupon at 1 o'clock at the Kroger on Mud Lane. That's not far from Preston Highway. Coupons will be available as supplies last.
Fans heading to this year's Juice Bowl tournament will notice a few changes. Metro Councilwoman Tammy Hawkins' office is taking over organizing the Thanksgiving Youth Football Tournament. What started as a holiday pickup game between friends more than 70 years ago has turned into a lasting tradition. And this year games start at 8 a.m. and they should end by 2 p.m. at Shawnee Park.
We're going to be feeding all the Little League teams that are going to be there. We're going to have 3 games. We've implemented a lot of things. We have several more bleachers. We'll be heavily policed.
And she invites everyone to come out for a day of family-friendly fun. And if you are heading out, you can also bring a canned good, and they will donate all of that to Dare to Care.
Always such a great Thanksgiving tradition.
Yeah, certainly is. We'll be right back.
This Wave News Update is sponsored by Oxmoor Auto Group.
Good morning, I'm Shannon Kogan. Today, the Kentucky Hemp Association plans to hold a press conference outside Senator Mitch McConnell's offices in Louisville and Lexington. It comes after new restrictions on hemp were created in a provision of the bill that reopened the federal government. The regulation change was spearheaded by Senator McConnell, who says too many hemp products with THC have intoxicating effects, but it was part of the Farm Bill passed in 2018. Some Kentucky hemp farmers say the change makes much of their products illegal. Here's meteorologist Carson Meredith, and get ready for a nice weekend.
Indeed. How about highs of the 70s on Saturday? Not bad today, but we got one little bump in the road we're tracking. That's a few showers across southern Indiana. We'll zoom in on Lawrence and Jackson counties in particular, just near Medora along Highway 50 down towards Mitchell. These are really just sprinkles, if anything, but nonetheless, we'll carry about that 10 to 20% chance for these light showers now until about 2 o'clock this afternoon. And it's especially those of you in southern Indiana that will have the best chance to see some of these lighter showers as a warm front moves through. That warm front's a big reason why we're heading for the upper 60s today. And as you see on the 10-day earliest alert, we'll be in the 70s on Saturday, but a cold front moves in tomorrow night. That'll cool us back down to near 60 on Sunday. Here's Rob Wells now with a check of the roads on this Friday morning. Rob.
Okay, Carson, thanks so much. And if you're just joining us at 7:28, happy finally Friday to you. Good news right now, all clear on the roadways. We do have a little bit of slowdowns traffic-wise around Okolona. There are a couple of disabled vehicles there. Looking at the big picture, you can see that. Cleanup already continued this morning near 64 and 9th downtown. We had a couple accidents there, but that has since been cleared at this point. Your commute looking pretty good. 10 minutes or under for most of the metro area. Make it a great morning. We'll see you in another 25 minutes from now.
Good morning. Happy Friday to you. Hope your day is off to a good start and hopefully you have some fun weekend plans coming up. Starting now with an update to that tragic UPS plane crash. Workers at the new Resource Center say they're ready to help anyone who was impacted by the crash. The new Community Resource Center on High Rise Drive is hosting different organizations which provide their own specialized services. That includes mental health counseling, finding lost documents, even coordinating kids' support with local schools. 14 people were killed. 18 others were injured when that plane crashed last week. Staff say the center is for anyone whose life has been disrupted, not just for those injured by the blast.
It's important to know that asking for help is not a weakness, it's a strength, and help can come in different forms, look differently for different people.
People will need to make an appointment before getting help from the Resource Center, though, and we have that contact information on our website, wave3.com. A man connected to last year's deadly Harvest Homecoming shooting will spend 9 years in prison. Shermichael Smith is the 12th person sentenced in the investigation. A Floyd County judge accepted a plea agreement for Smith. We learned Smith pleaded guilty to providing a vehicle to get from Louisville to Harvest Homecoming. 18-year-old Bryce Gerlach was killed and 2 others were hurt in that shooting. His defense attorney says Smith never fired any shots that night, and he was simply caught up in the chaos. Prosecutors say they craft each plea deal to make sure everyone involved receives the proper punishment.
In each of these, we tailor the pleas to what the law says and comports it to that and try to make it equivalent to whatever the facts and the law come out to, and to protect the public.
As part of the plea deal, Smith is required to testify in any cases related to the shooting. One final named defendant, Isaiah Page, is scheduled for his trial on January 26th. A change of plea hearing has been delayed for a woman accused in a violent home invasion in Valley Station last January. Prosecutors say Jamara Curitin violently robbed and beat an elderly woman with a crowbar inside her home. Curitin turned herself in after extensive media coverage. She's charged with robbery, burglary, and assault. The change of plea hearing is now set for January 21st of 2026. Well, we have seen the rise of the bourbon industry here in Kentucky, and now one company coming under fire. A vacation rental company caught up in a bankruptcy case started a Kentucky bourbon tour as a way to pay its debts. And after some initial success, customers are now complaining their bookings have been canceled at the last minute, right before their trips. Bourbon Express is an offshoot of a company called The Farm, and The Farm has been going through a difficult bankruptcy, even made the news when weddings at venues it was renting ran into problems. And now the bourbon tour is running into problems of its own. Wave News troubleshooter Mark Stevens found the company's federal operating status was put out of service months ago.
Steve Patton had booked a bourbon outing for 14 people celebrating some big birthdays.
It was for my wife's 50th, another woman's 50th, and one of our friends, his 50th too.
Andrew Krozik had a surprise trip booked for his wife's 30th birthday.
I couldn't talk to her about it. That was the worst part. And I was texting her friends and whatnot. Obviously her best friend met us down there.
Both got the same email ahead of their trips.
Almost like an attorney wrote it for him, or AI or something.
Dear valued guest, we write you in order to inform you that due to various circumstances, including an ongoing family health emergency and motor carrier licensing developments, we are unable to service the tour you booked with us this month. We have canceled the tour booking.
That's very difficult. That's why most couldn't do it. When they heard 14, they're thinking, yeah, the money would be great, but we can't even book you.
I thought I was doing a good job planning it out a month in advance. And it was just, the craziest part was when I called Jessica over at Bourbon Express. She's like, "You're my 5th phone call today." And I was like, my heart's saying.
Tim Hagan with Kentucky Bourbon Boys says their phone has been ringing off the hook with customers scrambling to rebook their trips.
There have been days recently where 4 different people have called us on the same day with the same story. And Monday we had 2 first thing. As soon as the phones went live, 2 calls asking for help.
They've been able to help some customers, but not all. October is peak bourbon tour season, with people coming in for college football, good weather, and fall colors.
We're getting a lot of calls with short notice cancellations and asking us to help. And they've got flight reservations and hotels set up and dinners and large groups.
Bourbon Express's email told Steve and Andrew to try and get their money back from their credit card company. Andrew is waiting.
I actually called and followed up with a credit card, and it's still in there and active.
Patton is actually a retired cop. He filed a report with his local police, and he put his own pressure on the company.
I kind of said the FBI is going to be calling them soon or getting a hold of them soon.
Court records show the company had high hopes offering bourbon and horse tours. Its lawyer told the bankruptcy judge it could bring in $1.7 million if its 3 vans ran just over half full. But on August 20th, the feds put the company out of service for failing a safety audit. While the shutdown has prevented Wave from getting detailed records, the federal website shows the company has no insurance currently, and its prior policies had been canceled. Bourbon Express did not return Wave's phone calls or emails. Its bankruptcy lawyer recently quit after telling the judge at the beginning of October the law firm was owed $200,000. Bankruptcy records also show the company is behind on loan payments for one of its vans. Bourbon Express is still taking bookings.
So Patton said he did get a full refund directly from Bourbon Express, but Tim Hagan with the Kentucky Bourbon Boys suggests people check their online reviews before booking with an operator, and Bourbon Express's reviews are starting to fill up with people upset over those last-minute cancellations. A judge has ordered money be paid out after family members of former Clark County Sheriff Jamie Knoll say he mismanaged their father's estate. According to our partners at the News and Tribune, in August of 2024, Knoll and his daughter Casey were sued by the children of William Knoll, that's Jamie's brother, who died back in 2018. They claim Jamie Knoll mismanaged the estate. Jamie Knoll sold one of his brother's homes to his daughter Casey Knoll and then gave her $36,000 in equity. He also reimbursed himself $16,000 from the estate. Special Judge Roger Duvall authorized the release of $122,000 in a trust to William Knoll's family members. Right now, Jamie Knoll is serving a 12-year prison sentence after he pleaded guilty to theft and tax evasion in connection to a scheme to steal money from New Chapel EMS. A New Albany woman already sentenced for her role in a Jeffersonville man's murder is accused of violating her parole. The News and Tribune reports Kennedy Forrest was back in court yesterday. She was first arrested in January and charged with armed robbery, assisting a criminal, and obstruction of justice in regards to Jalen Baker's death last Christmas. Forrest took a plea deal instead, but prosecutors claim she has not maintained good behavior or updated her probation officer properly. Prosecutors also accused Forrest of using drugs and missing a drug screening. She's due back in court November 24th. Court documents say Forrest admitted to investigators that Timothy Love and his uncle Marlon Love were at her apartment talking about putting a hit out on Baker. Investigators say Baker and Love were members of rival gangs. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back in 2 minutes. Thanks for staying with us here for Sunrise Extra. U of L Health says it plans to cut jobs in order to modernize their healthcare service to the community. U of L Health tells us less than 1% of its workforce will be impacted. Workers who are part of this layoff are even being given the chance to transfer to other open positions in the healthcare system. U of L says the change will help eliminate duplicate roles and provide more opportunities for investment in patient care. Democratic lawmakers are pushing for changes to the healthcare system now that the longest government shutdown in history is now over. The measure, which will fund government operations through the end of January, was passed by the House of Representatives Wednesday and then signed into law by President Trump. Not included in the bill, though, was a measure to extend expiring subsidies that lowers the cost of healthcare coverage for Americans using Obamacare. Kentucky Representative Morgan McGarvey says he's tired of seeing inaction in Congress.
I am tired of Congress pretending that there's nothing we can do to fix the broken healthcare system in this country. It was broken before October 1st. People were already paying too much, and we can do something about it. We just need to have people who have the courage to act and the courage to fight for everybody to make sure that their health insurance premiums remain affordable.
Under the deal, Senate Republicans agreed to allow Democrats a vote in December on a bill of their choice to extend those boosted subsidies. Meanwhile, Republican Kentucky Congressman Hal Rogers had this to say about the health care debate, quote, "This bill gives us more time to work on health care needs and other funding priorities while ensuring no more federal paychecks are missed and no more people go hungry, something that should never be negotiable." As part of the deal to reopen the government, $147 million in federal funding was secured for military construction projects, including at work at Fort Knox. Here are some of those numbers. $50 million of that will be used to tear down aircraft hangars at Fort Knox. Base officials say the existing hangars are not able to support current and future operations. $8 million will go towards building a new access road. A new two-way bypass will allow military equipment and large vehicles to easily travel between Fort Knox's main roads. Another $4.5 million will be used to rebuild 2 new dining facilities. Some Kentucky lawmakers are looking for ways artificial intelligence can be used for public safety, especially within corrections. On Thursday, a company came before the Artificial Intelligence Task Force to explain how they've been able to do just that. VIA Science is a company that works with the U.S. Department of Defense. Officials explained how AI was used to help law enforcement in Georgia in the largest gang-related case in the state's history. They found out criminals were operating from inside the prison by using contraband cell phones, and those phones were actually dropped on top of the facility's roofs using drones, which were the size of tables. VIA used AI technology to pinpoint the criminals in the prison who were using those cell phones.
Unlike traditional cell jamming, which indiscriminately blocks all signals in an area, or physical searches which place officers at risk, VIA's technology accurately identifies contraband phones and termination and preserves the evidentiary and investigatory value of intercepted communications, while eliminating the need for dangerous in-person searches.
More than 180 people were arrested as part of the sting, including 8 correctional officers. VIA also found the flight data for the drones, connecting them to 10 other states, which includes Kentucky. Well, it sounds like a good way to crack down on crime. Company leaders say there are some downsides to the technology.
While jamming may sound like a straightforward solution, it carries significant operational and legal safety risk. It can interfere with 911 calls, first responder networks, and other legitimate communications outside the prison perimeter.
The presentation was just a discussion on AI related to the public safety in Kentucky. The General Assembly reconvenes on January 6th. Well, selecting health insurance plans can be a little complicated, confusing, and maybe even scary. It's one of the most important things you can do for the well-being of yourself and your family, though. WAVE News anchor Dawn G had a chance to talk to a legal expert from one of the nation's leading healthcare cost containment firms who shares important information about the process and our choices, all while trying to make ends meet.
So when it comes to open enrollment, I like to say it's like shopping for a new car and not knowing what a car is.
Ron Peck is the chief legal officer for the FIA Group, an innovative cost containment leader in the health insurance industry.
Kind of feels like you're being dropped off on a desert island and being asked to find your way home.
Making an informed choice on your health care during open enrollment is crucial, not only to your well-being, but also to helping you make ends meet.
Because this is a decision that's very important and very meaningful and could have a major impact on your life.
Signing up for health insurance, adjusting your selections, or canceling your plan altogether must be done during the open enrollment window. Know the timeline and then take time to discover what's best for you and those on your policy.
You need to understand the difference between health insurance and the network. Health insurance is what pays the medical bills. That's who pays. The network is the one that negotiates the payable rate.
In-network providers have already agreed to your provider's negotiated rate. In-network will generally cost less. Health providers out of network do not have a contract with your provider and can charge their rate, which is generally higher out-of-pocket fees for the patient. Your prescriptions also have negotiated prices. However, there are discount cards, mail order, and low-price pharmacies that can be helpful.
That the cost of the actual care, the surgeries, the doctor's visits, the drugs, the medical devices are going up, up, up.
That means the cost of your health insurance plan is more than likely rising too. Do your best to control what you can.
When you get those EOBs, explanations of benefits, in the mail, and you open the envelope and you look at it, across the top, it always has in big letters, "This is not a bill."
Do not throw it away. It may not be a bill, but it could cost you in the long run if there are services listed in those benefits that you never received but were charged to your insurance carrier.
And the more your plan spends, or the more your insurance spends on healthcare, right or wrong, that's going to result in higher premiums next year to make it up.
So if you're feeling really uncomfortable or confused during open enrollment, you can talk to your employee or maybe someone in HR. You can know the deadline for your company's open enrollment and make sure you don't miss it so you don't miss those chances to get your benefits. And if you're unsure about any of your choices or options, make sure you're asking questions and don't assume that your plan is still the same from last year. You may have to go into open enrollment and click on an option to keep what you have. For this full story and to make sure you know absolutely everything that you're getting yourself into during open enrollment, you can go to the story on wave3.com. We'll be right back with some sports headlines coming up in just 2 minutes. Well, after the Cards and Cats just faced off on the court, now 2 players from the rival teams joining forces for a big event. Dick's Sporting Goods is opening a new generation store on Friday at the Jefferson Town Center in Jeffersonville. UK's Otega Oweh and U of L's Mikael Brown Jr. will be there for the grand opening weekend. The players will sign autographs and take pictures with fans. Oweh will be on Saturday evening, Brown on Sunday afternoon. So 2 different days where U of L and UK fans can split that up. The store is handing out 250 wristbands to meet each player on a first-come, first-served basis. So for more information on how to get one, you can just click on this story on wave3.com. U of L baseball has released their schedule for the upcoming season. The Cards went all the way to Omaha last year. Now they're looking for another postseason run. Louisville's schedule will include 34 games at Jim Patterson Stadium, leaving you with so many chances to see the Cards here at home. The 2026 season opens on Friday, February 13th against Michigan State. That's going to be a chilly one. Then the rivalry game against Kentucky. That one's set for Tuesday, April 7th in Lexington. This will make Coach McDonald's 20th season with the Cards. And on the heels of their big win against Kentucky this week, the Cards will be back on the court of the KFC Yum Center this weekend. They'll be playing Ohio Saturday at noon. The game comes after their 96-88 win over the Cats on Tuesday. Hopefully they can keep that momentum going. Saturday's game will also be a salute to service with discounts for both veterans and active duty military members. There will also be discounts for first responders. It's also Hall of Fame weekend, where the 2025 Louisville Athletics Hall of Fame class will be recognized. And even though the boys in purple lost earlier than they were hoping in the postseason, some players were still recognized yesterday for their play during the regular season. The USL Championship announced the 2025 All Leagues team, and Lou City very well represented in that. 5 players from Lou City were represented on the first team as goalkeeper Damian Loss, and defenders Kyle Adams, Josh Jones, and Aiden McFadden were honored after the club's outstanding defensive performance. Midfielder Taylor Davila also earned his 3rd consecutive All-League first team honor. Then defender Sean Tosh also earned second team honors for his 6th overall selection in his career. The 2025 USL Championship Awards were voted on by club management and a league-wide media panel that included representation from every USL market. So big congratulations to all of those players. That's all the time we have here for Sunrise Extra. I hope you have a great Friday and enjoy the weekend. Get out there and enjoy that beautiful weather we're supposed to have on Saturday before the rain comes in next week. See you next time.